I want to talk to Dan and Paul. I want to get Paul involved here. About the United announced a 5% increase in season ticket prices for 2026-27 season, which is drawing fan criticism. And then I mentioned to you just before that Forbes has just released that the Glazers' net worth soars to $2 billion each as Manchester United owners. What's the go there, boys? You both are season pass holders. How do you feel? Where do we take this to the next level? Do you think that more protests are going to happen? What's going to happen with this? It's an absolute joke, man.
So you feel free. You go first. I'll follow you. I've got some opinions. So.
I'm the same as you, mate. I've got some opinions, but let's put it in the wider context first before I start slating them. In the sense that the last 3 years we've had increases, but the 10 years prior to that, all season ticket prices were frozen. So for 10 years, admittedly, there were 10 years when we were pretty crap. But, you know, we let's celebrate the small wins in the sense that for a number of years, despite prices going up around the league, we managed to keep our season tickets frozen. Now, you've had comments from Jim Ratcliffe in the last year about we shouldn't be paying less than Fulham. And, you know, similar opinions voiced by a lot of people. United's season ticket prices in the grand scheme of things, in comparison to other teams in the league, isn't as high. Now, a lot of that is due to the fact that we're not in London and we don't have the same cost of living or the same wealth in Manchester that they do in London. So you've got to put that into context as well. Now, my season ticket's going up, like you said, 5%. So over the course of a season, it's like £2 or £3 a game, which isn't a lot. Like it's fine. Like it's manageable. It's not something where you go, I can't afford to pay that anymore. Is it frustrating? Of course it's frustrating. But for the people that are sat nearer the dugout, who are being told that their seats are being made into more corporate packages, essentially, because the club can sell them for tenfold what they are at the minute, it's way, way worse. And like you've got people that have paid for, I think it's executive club seats this year, that have been able to freeze their ticket prices for next season. Now, a lot of that, I think, is due to what we've seen this season, in the sense that United haven't played anywhere near as many home games because they got knocked out in the cups really early on. So they've not had value for money. But the club clearly feel, and they're demonstrating it in what they're doing with taking some seats away from the back of the stands and making them into more corporate areas and boxes and what have you, that there's a bigger upside in selling those corporate tickets than there are to the normal fan that's held a season ticket for 20 years. They don't care about us. We're easily replaceable. Unfortunately, the demand is there for all types of tickets at United. Like a lot of my friends and family, unless I give them my season ticket, they don't go because they can't get hold of tickets. They don't want to pay £400 a game in a seat up in a padded seat. Like it's the fan advisory board and MUFC and all that kind of stuff have done some really good work in keeping it down to 5%, and not changing the stipulations around how many games you have to attend in a season to keep hold of your season ticket, and now being able to, have the option of forwarding it on to family and giving it to the foundation if you desire. Like, there are some good things, but there's also some extremely irritating and annoying things. But we aren't the only club that's going through a season ticket price rise. We're not. Like, let's be real. And ours, they're not awful. They're just frustrating because we've had 10 years previously where there were no season ticket rises. It was frozen.
Well,
so
do you think, say, I know you said the 5% ends up being to £2 to £3, but do you see them being from maybe them looking at it going, let's do 5% this year, 5% next year, maybe 3% the following year. Then all of a sudden, without even thinking about it, you've gone up 13%.
Yeah. Well, 100%,
do you know what I mean?
That's what's going to happen, right? They're going to keep boosting it. How is this new stadium going to get paid for? Well, we've heard nothing about how that's being funded. But ultimately, that's going to come from the fans, right? Players' wages. We can't pay the sort of wages we used to. That's becoming quite clear. Like, Semenyo's gone to City and he's on more money. Whether he wanted to come to us or not is a different question. But ultimately, they offered him a better financial package than we did because we can't afford to do it anymore. We're still riddled with debt. Like, we're shifting some players in this summer that are on big money. But ultimately, the money that we're paying in season tickets, the money that we're spending on match day, a lot of it's going towards player wages. Of course it is. Like, it's unfortunately one of those situations that, like in comparison to the Aussie League, it's gone way the other way. Like it's got to a level that's unsustainable, and unfortunately, fans are now being priced out of. I mean, not so much me, but other fans are being priced out or being told to move, or the club are trying to be a bit cute with things and trying to find ways of generating money. But then you also have fans go, well, let's break the bank for said player. You can't have it both ways. Like it's a really controversial topic for a lot of us. I'm sure Paul will go into it a bit deeper than I have. And it's obviously very divisive. There's no perfect scenario with this, is there really? Because ultimately the club is always going to want more money. There's a lot of greed in football. Like you want the best players to play for your team. There's a cost with that. Like, unfortunately, fans are the ones that end up paying for it. Do I agree with ticket price rises? No, of course I don't, because it benefits me, or certainly doesn't benefit me directly. Like, it costs me more money. But am I willing to pay the extra £3 a game, to keep my season ticket? Well, yeah, I am, because the waiting list for a season ticket in the Stretford End is ridiculous. So if you get rid of a season ticket, you're not getting it back for a decade. And that's probably one of the main reasons why we could build a 100,000 seater stadium. Forget the logistics.
What's the total price? What's your season pass cost you?
So, I mean, I'm going approximately now because I don't know the exact figure, but I sit in the Stretford End upper tier, so I'm tier 2, and it's approximately for league, because obviously they charge you for the league game, so the payment that comes out when they renew. It's just the league games. It's around £900 now.
Yeah, I thought it was. I was going to say £1,000.
Yes, but then you've got the club are quite. As I'm sure Paul will reiterate, they're quite cute with how they do things with the cup scheme. So you can opt in or out of the cup scheme, and they've brought in the cup season ticket now.
Yeah,
which they did, I think, last year for the first year. So I've continued to opt in. Now the problem I get as a season ticket holder is that shifting games for a tie against, say, Altrincham on a Tuesday night in the League Cup, people don't want to go. Or like, say we draw Young Boys in the Champions League and we have them at home. That'll never sell out. Like, I know the club will say it's sold out, but a lot of it's through different statistics. You go in the ground, it's not full. Like, it never is. It's unfortunately you lose money there, but the benefit of having the season ticket because you love the club and know you're not going to get it back means that you'll offset that loss, right? And they're cute with how they take the money out. So, like, say United win an away tie, you'll get an email before the away tie happens saying that if they win, the money will come out of your account, and it's normally instantaneous with the result. Like, it's
they don't waste any time.
Literally 5 minutes after full time, money's come out for the next round. We don't know who we've got. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things you put up with, right? Because that's the privilege of being a season ticket holder. There are pros and cons with it. Ultimately, if you've got the money and you want to spend it and you don't mind taking that loss, all for it. But you've got to get more people in the ground. Like, I've been massive about making sure I give my ticket to family and friends and get it back to the club as early as possible so people can go. Because you don't want to just have your seat sat there. We want to build an atmosphere at games, right? Like, that's been one of the biggest criticisms for the number of years I've held it when I was living in the UK. Like, we'd go to a midweek game, and unless it was a Champions League night, and even then, some of the Champions League games that were dead rubbers, there's no atmosphere. And they've made some brilliant changes this year, and the Must has been a massive part of that, and the fan advisory board's been a massive part of that with banners in the Stretford End. Well, they weren't allowed 12 months ago. But that's come in as a new thing. It's made a massive difference. Like, the lads I still speak to that sit next to me said it's night and day difference a lot of the time now in games that would normally not sort of elicit that atmosphere pre-game. Like, it's a separate issue, but kind of tied into the same thing. So I don't think the Must criticism was particularly fair from, thank you for listening, whoever it was, but I don't think that was particularly justified. In
the scheme of things, I think people are getting hung up on this, £1, £2, whatever it is, game. I think that the wider issue with prices is it's the next generation of fans. It's getting pricing sorted so that kids can afford to go. Kids can afford to go with their mates, and that's where you get this habit of the next generation of support coming. I think that's a big problem. I think it's a problem that a lot of Premier league clubs have, and they're kind of burying their heads in the sand. Potentially, you know, when United get the new stadium sorted out, it's going to be an issue they're going to have to sort in terms of having affordable ticket prices for youngsters to be able to go, and to be able to go on their own, to be able to go with parents or however it is, not necessarily in a sanitized family stand environment, which you know, I absolutely loathed when that was at Old Trafford in its day. It was a dreadful experience. But I also think I think you touched on it with the number of games, the requirement for a number of games that you had to go to every year. I think it's 17 this year. I think the problem with it, and why there's a lot of opposition, is because we know that if you do sell your ticket back to the club then on sell it at an inflated price. So you know, we saw the problem at the Rangers game where these tickets were turning up on premium websites direct from the club within minutes of being returned, being sold for 3 or 4 times the face value of the ticket, but it included corporate hospitality or a sandwich and a drink at the bar behind or something like that, and that is fundamentally wrong. They're just inflating. It's glorified touting, really. But the club know that these people will, they'll take them, and if they're doing it for travellers, people that are travelling to physically support United, they are going to go in the souvenir shop, and they are going to spend an extra £200-300 on top of the inflated ticket price they've had. So whilst, you know, I think a couple of percent, or 5%, it's not outrageous in terms of, it's a relatively low number compared to players, clubs like Spurs, where you're paying two or three grand for a ticket to see your goalkeeper get substituted after 15 minutes because he's fallen over twice. Sorry Spurs fans, but I don't know what the whether where it will continue to, but it's certainly never going to go down. They're not going to be reducing prices dramatically, particularly with a billion in debt and growing daily because of the Glazers, and a new stadium that's going to cost another 2 billion, and everything else. The fans are going to pay for it, and they're going to pay for it at the bars behind the Stretford end. They're going to pay for it in K-Stan where I am. They're going to pay for it in the souvenir shop. They're going to pay for it in membership fees and everything else. So if you want to be an active supporter, then you've got to face it that it's going to cost you more and more every year. And I don't know where that ends. But unfortunately, wages and everything aren't going up at the same rate.